Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about Romanticism. In the simple way to understand, Romanticism is a style of art, music, and literature popular in Europe in the late 18th century. The nature of Romanticism may be approached from the primary importance of the free expression of the feeling of the artist. Romanticism is a literally artistic and philosophical movement originating in the 18th century and early 19th centuries that deal with the beauty of nature and human emotions. Let us further to the next segment.
Romanticism quickly spread throughout Europe and the United States to challenge the rational ideal held so tightly during the Enlightenment. The Age of Enlightenment, which means philosophical, literary, and intellectual period in the 18th century that championed logic and reason above all else. The period produced great works of philosophy and the science such as The Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith. The artists emphasized that sense and emotions were equally important means of understanding and experiencing the world. In part of encouragement by the idealism of the French Revolution, Romanticism embraced the struggle for freedom and equality and the promotion of justice. In many countries, Romantic painters turned their attention to nature and plein air painting, or painting out of doors. Works based on close observation of the landscape as well as the sky and atmosphere elevated landscape painting to a new, more respectful level. Romanticism was closely bound up with the emergence of newly found nationalism that swept many countries after the American Revolution. Romantic painters combined the ideal with the particular, inspiring their paintings with a call to spiritual renewal that would usher age of freedom that not yet seen.
In England, the English Romantic painter favored more to landscape, however, were not as dramatic and sublime as their German counterpart, but were more naturalistic, combining close to observation of nature with a deep sensitivity. In France, they more exist after the Napoleonic War ended. Unlike their German counterpart, the French had a large collection of subjects that included portrait and history painting. Dramatically staged more composition of light and color highlighted the horror of contemporary events and tragedies. The French also delivered a strong sculpture rendition of Romanticism. Romanticist sculpture was drawn to scenes of beasts of prey and fighting animals in which the animals were depicted as a writhing shreds of bodies. In German Romantic painters turned their sight to interior emotion instead of reasoned observation. They looked to previous eras, including the Middle Age, for example, of men living in harmony with nature and each other. The leading German Romanticist Caspar David Friedrich's worked predominantly in landscape painting and explored man's relation to the land. It became an allegory for the human soul as well as a symbol of freedom and boundlessness. In Spain, Romanticism exists in the midst of the Peninsular War waged by Napoleon and the Spanish War of Independence. They more exploring to the subjective view of landscape and portrait. and also valorizing the individual. In United States, found its primary expression in the landscape painting between 1825 until 1875. While the movement began with the Thomas Doughty, whose work emphasized a kind of criticism in nature, sometimes using composite of various scenes to create an image of a somewhat imaginary location. He emphasized in such painting was often upon dramatic details, where the human figure would appear to be, and where an overwhelming and sublime sense of nature beauty would be conveyed.
Very well. My full name is Joseph Mellett William Turner. Like you guys already know, but also people know me as JMW Turner. I was born on 23rd April 1775. I'm from Maiden Lane, Convention Garden, London. I take my study at Academy of Art from 1789. I also can be considered as the founder of English watercolor painting. I was famous for my landscape painting with their unconventional emphasis of light, color and also atmospheric effects. I was also known as the painter of light. Many people consider me as the first modern painter. The art critic John Ruskin say I was the greatest of the age. What's made me famous? Through the first half of the 19th century, I was unstoppable. I was dominant British landscape painting in a truly romantic style. Alright, okay. Romantic style, or also known as Romantism art, in terms in use by the early 19th century to describe the moments in art and literature described by a new interest in human, psychological expression of personal feeling and interest in the natural world. Alright, this is one of my artwork. I want to describe the warship year after its glorious day, being pulled by a songbird to be broken into scrap. The paintings pay a tribute to sailing ship as they were going to be replaced by a steam power vessel. I use the ship as a symbolize or metaphor, like the setting suns to suggest the demise of the subject and its mortality despite its heroic past.
Hello, my name is Casper David Friedrich. I was born in Griswold in northern Germany in 1774. I also known as a mid-person allergical landscape. I also a landscape painter of 19th century of German Romantic movement. Okay, the concept of my artwork is I use nature as a divine creation to be set against the artifice of human civilization. I also took the genre of landscape painting, traditionally considered unimportant, and infused it into a deep religious and spiritual significance. I also believe that majority of the natural world could only reflect the magnificence of God. There's lots of artwork that I've been painted before. One of my famous artwork is Okay, one of my famous painting is the Abbey in the Old Woods. Okay, this masterpiece use space and absence to create a sense of loss and longing. The depiction of ruins and the barren trees suggests the death and abdomen, compounded by the dull, mute color palette and uneven compositional balance. This message is non-nihilistic. Soft light suggests the sun shine down through the clouds, the oak trees as a barren but not dead.
Hello, hi everyone. My name is John Heinrich Fuseli. I'm one of the British Romantic painter was born in Switzerland, and I also the second son of 5 children of Johann Caspar Fuseli and Elizabeth Weser. My education as a theologian and ordained as a Zwillen minister in 1761. I'm one of the British Romantic painter was born in Switzerland. This painting name is The Nightmare, and it was my best work in 1781. The most interesting about this painting is there is simultaneous portray a sleeping woman and the content of her nightmare. The theme is about between the light, clean, formal and rational. The foreground and the mysterious imaginary, dreamy and white background mark the contrast between the classicism and romanticism. I get this idea from when I was working dream, which were inspired by my contemporaries as well. I consider those dreams to be related to folkloric belief like the Germanic tales about demons and witches that possess people who sleep alone. The early meaning of nightmare include the sleeper experience of weight on the chest along with sleep paralysis and a feeling of dread. The nightmare was first cited in 1782 at the Royal Academy of London. I was surprised that my painting became famous. The painting depicts a woman stretched on the bed and sleeping. The sleeper seemed lifeless, lying in a pose that was believed to encourage nightmares, and her face expression indicate the nightmares she has. The interior is contemporary and fashionable, and so are the sleeper clothes. I hope you get my information of me. Hope we can see you again. Bye.
Hey, my boy! Ken, what is the question? Of course, everything for you, my beloved grandson. My full name is Jean-Louis André Theodore Gericau, also known as Theodore Gericau. I born in 26 September 1719 at Rouen, France. I died in 26 January 1824 at Paris, France. Yep, that time my age is 22 years old. My masterpiece is The Wrath of Medusa. The paint was produced in 1990 of Laurent, Paris. The theme of this paint can be divided by two, which is the military theme and the theme this full with emotion like love, sacrifice, and that's all. The pen tell about captain have left the crew and the passenger to death. That story was inspired by true story. That's all about the Raft of Medusa. Oh, okay, boy. I have to go now. See you next time. Okay. Okay. Bye.
Hi, okay, my boy. It's raining, yeah? My name is Francisco Goya, and I born in 30 March 1746 in Torres, Spain. And I died. Of course, I died. Because I'm your grandpa. I died in April 16, 18 at France. I born at Spain and died at France. Okay. I was called a old master, the first modern artist. My art embodies Romantism that emphasizes on subjectivity, imagination, and emotion. I am an observer. I respond to the event on my day through art. What is my famous art? You as my grandson, you don't know? My famous art was called The Sleep of the Reason That Produced Monster. It's a long title, right? As you can see, the painting on my left side, it was pictured a guy who sleeps, and there is a animal and monster around him on his back. The reason why I do this art is because my picture is that sleeping man can be thought as I am himself, Goya himself, me. And there are some monsters in the picture. These are the monsters that in the title which invade mind when reason is rendered to imagination and dreams. And when we sleep, the dreams come and the monster will come. Many of the animals in my art hold symbolism meaning. As we can see, the owl and the bats, the watchful lynx, and bat with a goat head. Bat. The owl and bats represent ignorance and evil, and watchful lynx represent creature with ability to the darkness. Bat with goat head, as we know, can be related to the satanic reference, which means the devil reference. The reason why I make this painting is because with my consideration, I have to be aware of danger disagreeing with politics. So my painting is all about awareness, but in a absurd way that people cannot understand. Okay, that's all from me. So till we meet again in the heaven. Okay, bye bye.